don't you pick up my phone calls? There's actually a video of that. Diddy and Justin Bieber looks to be like 15 years.
It's really too bad that Candace Owens only cares about some victims of abuse. I mean, she's been doing so many videos about the Diddy parties. I'm just wondering how, because she's a newly converted Catholic, I'm just wondering how is the Diddy parties any different than the Catholic Church? I mean, the Catholic Church has a longer history of sodomizing boys than any Diddy party does. But you won't dare hear Candace Owens ever talk about that. No, of course not. Michael Knowles won't talk about that. None of those people that hold up Catholicism as if it's the true church. Yet it's the church Hollywood goes to. Look, I feel bad for Justin Bieber, and I hate coming across these videos where people have already written him off. He was 15 years old. He was drugged. He was drugged by Diddy. Look, what this is the repeating pattern of abuse. That's what this is. LL Cool J did it to Jay-Z. Jay-Z went on to do it to Diddy, and Diddy, that's what they do. We know that that's what happens. It doesn't mean every single victim of abuse goes on to do that. So before people write Justin off as he's part of the club, and what the club is it's a club of demoralizing people and videotaping it. I mean, they give these kids ketamine. Ketamine is used in psych, most especially in the emergency room, because it's quick acting. It'll put somebody that's out of control to sleep, and then when they wake up, they're calmer. Okay, but they're only asleep for a few minutes. But they give them ketamine. They put it in the drinks. They put ecstasy in it. That's the reason these people look so like they can barely stand up. And then what they do is they rape them. And they videotape it, and then they use that videotape to blackmail them and say, if you don't want me to put out that you've been my boy toy, you're going to do this. Justin Bieber has not been indicted for being involved in trafficking like Diddy has been. I mean, Diddy's in a whole lot of trouble, but there's a whole lot more than him. Jay-Z needs to come down. There's a whole bunch of them. Beyonce, yes. That's that world, okay? But there's been victims of that world that haven't gone on to abuse anybody, that haven't gone on to be involved in trafficking. Diddy had a tunnel under his house that went to Hugh Hefner's house. The Kardashians involved in this, all of it. I mean, Justin Bieber was just some kid on YouTube, I believe, before he was famous, a kid that had a YouTube channel that played guitar and sang, I believe. But I'm seeing stuff where people are saying that his parents put him in this. No, I think he was abandoned by his parents. But he hasn't been indicted for anything. So let's not be like so many people do and start accusing somebody that was raped and abused against their will as because they were there, they were involved in this. But that said, what do you think Candace Owens' role is? She's a tool for Hollywood. How did Candace Owens get famous? Through Kanye West. Kanye West brought her onto the scene. Now she has millions of followers that think that she somehow holds up conservative values, and she's a Catholic who doesn't even know the gospel, but yet is a hypocrite because she sits there and carries on about all this abuse at the Diddy parties, but never once says anything about the 1,500-year history of the children that have been abused by the Catholic Church. No, won't say anything about that. So should you believe her? Well, she's just trying to lead you down the wrong track. That's why I say everybody's trying to lead people down the wrong track. And maybe it's because they're down the wrong track, but they don't want to listen to anybody. And if they have millions of followers, trust me, they likely have a motive. I mean, not every single person, but you really have to be careful. She's a total hypocrite because people like her completely don't care about the victims that were much younger than Justin was, that were abused by the Catholic clergy, sodomized. That's the reason why Jesus tried to warn people of this world, is because that repeating pattern of abuse oftentimes leads to the person abusing. Not everyone. Not everyone. Many don't, but many do. And then it goes on to create this perpetual cycle of abuse. So when Candace Owens wants to carry on about the Diddy party, but never carry on about the Catholic clergy and their abuse to victims, that's been much wider scale than any Diddy party, then what you have to realize is that is how messed up the world is. Such a messed up world that people automatically have condemned Justin Bieber, even though he's been indicted for nothing, even though he hasn't been accused of trafficking or going on to abuse anybody. And if he does, then that's a different story, but he hasn't. So when you go after him, then you're attacking a victim, okay? And we have an entire, a bunch of Democrats that have wanted to do nothing in their history except protect rapists and abusers, okay? And why do they want to do that? Because it's a wicked world. And I don't say that for people to, be down and out. No, that should tell you is that everything Jesus taught was true. Because that's why he warned you of this. That's why he warned of this, that they come in many different, shapes, sizes, colors, and try to say they're one thing and they're not. They're there to lead you astray. Candace Owens, in my opinion, is there to lead people astray. There's many parishioners in the Catholic Church that have just been there forever, that aren't on social media, that have no idea that they've been, following a gospel that's not true. Because 80% of the victims of Catholic clergy are boys. So the same thing Diddy does, but it's been on a much wider scale. That's why it's in Hollywood. It's wanting to demoralize people because they were demoralized, and then they go on to do it because it's part of the club. It's part of staying famous. It's part of getting the best record or whatever it is. Getting deals in Hollywood is this is what you have to do. And then people say because Justin Bieber took a Lamborghini that Diddy gave him, and yeah, because that's what they do. These are predators. But Justin Bieber himself has not been shown to be a predator. But yet he's getting so much attention because of his being famous, and yet people that have millions of followers like Candace Owens takes all this time on all of her shows right now because of the Diddy uncovering, that she wants to focus on all this, but doesn't once want to ever focus on the Catholic clergy abuse that has gone on much longer and is more widespread to victims than any Diddy party. Woe to you, hypocrite.